are two things that give me joy in this world. One of them is Formula One. The other is Twitter. Today I'm here to talk about Lewis Hamilton and his messy tweets, because if there's one thing Lewis Hamilton can do, apart from being 7-time world champion and posting thirst traps on Instagram, he can tweet. Obviously, it's gone downhill a bit recently because obviously this guy is like, you know, he is Lewis Hamilton. He is Sir Lewis Hamilton. So obviously he's gonna chill. Like, he's not as, you know, as feisty as he used to be. But this man and Twitter, it was a whole other story. And today we're gonna do a deep dive into Lewis Hamilton's iconic tweets, because he has many.
Stop crying, man, get back on the track.
So obviously in 2010 he decided to join Twitter, and at this time he was 25. And we're just gonna take a look at his Twitter bio because it's just giving me life. No faking. This is me, 25-year-old, race F1, family man, love my family, close to my boys, enjoy traveling and adventures, music and movies. This is my life. And that is an icon right there. He knew who he was. First of all, this first tweet that we're gonna look at is so funny because he had just joined Twitter and he posted on Twitter, "To those who care, thank you for the support. I'm on here for you. To all the haters, I just don't give an F." And like, people were shook because they hadn't seen this side of Lewis Hamilton. People just knew him as the buzz cut good boy in F1 who won a world championship in like 2008. So everyone was so shocked. People were like, you can't use this foul language on the internet. You have supporters that are children. He actually ended up deleting the tweet, and then he posted a now deleted tweet saying, "Right to my good peeps, I apologize for the language. I'm not venting, I'm always chilled. Was not aimed at you, God bless." And then he added, "LOL is an understatement. This Twitter thing is funny. So many people getting all stressed and whatnot. Smiley face." Tell me this man is not an icon, because he is. Like, that was literally his first tweet, guys. That was a cultural reset. And sometimes I get so jealous. In 2010, how old was I? I was literally like 8 years old. I was missing out on all this iconic behavior. Like, what? And then we move on swiftly, you know, he's warming up to Twitter and stuff. Then 2 years later, in 2012, when he decided to leave McLaren because McLaren was constantly just like disappointing him. You know, he wanted a fresh start, and he announced that he was going to move to Mercedes. Woo! Hey, during this announcement, maybe he noticed that, oh my god, Jenson Button doesn't follow me on Twitter. Like, what is this? He's literally my teammate. So he took to Twitter and decided to call out Jenson, and he was like, "Just noticed a Jenson Button unfollowed. That's a shame. After 3 years as teammates, I thought we respected one another, but clearly he doesn't." And everyone started like hyping him up. People were like, "Oh my god, how come Jenson doesn't follow Lewis on Twitter?" Then he continued tweeting like, "The funny thing is, we're still teammates. All good though. I plan on giving this team and fans all that I got till I cross the finish line in Brazil." He was like, "You know what? Jenson might not be following me, but I'll just give my all. I don't really care about him and stuff." And then it was so embarrassing because actually Jenson never followed him in the first place. He had to come back and tweet like, "My bad. Just found out Jenson never followed me. Don't blame him. Need to be on Twitter more." Like, he went and called out Jenson for something he didn't even do, and that is so embarrassing. I'm sure Jenson was like, "What's wrong with this guy? Like, why is he calling me out for no reason? I don't even use Twitter." So yeah, Lewis continued opening up to Twitter and stuff, you know, just living his life. McLaren was stressing him out, and they continued stressing him because, as y'all know, the 2012 Belgian Grand Prix, everyone knows it for the race that killed Fernando Alonso's championship hopes. But you know what? Something more important happened during that race. On Saturday qualifying, Jenson Button literally beat Lewis Hamilton with 8 tenths and got pole. It was because like he chose to have a car set up with the lower downforce, and Lewis had chosen the opposite. So Lewis was so pissed off at this, like, how can Jenson out qualify me, you know, and we have the same car? And it was literally him who chose to get different setup, and he took to what? He went to Twitter to vent, because that's what he used to do. Damn, what the freak? Jenson has the new rear wing on, I have the old one, we voted to change, didn't work out, I lose 4 tenths just on the straight. And then he went on to say, nothing I could do, now it's about picking up every point I can there. Jenson should win easy with that speed. And then he was like, PS, can't change the car once qualifying starts, I hope a Jenson Button brings home maximum points, I'll try and support him. This guy was pissed, this guy was triggered. He gave Jenson an ultimatum, like, you better bring that car home with a win.
Franz Tost.
Who's that?
And then we move on to 2016. In the 2016 Malaysian Grand Prix, Lewis's car was not giving. It was not giving. Literally, his engine had a problem and he had to DNF, and he was fed up. The media kept on asking Lewis, what happened? What happened? You know? Someone was talking outside. The next race after Malaysia 2016 was Suzuka. And Lewis made his way to the driver's press conference, and he was literally so bored because he knew that people were gonna ask him the same questions about Malaysia. So he decided, let me give this driver's press conference a positive turn. So he started playing with his phone, he started taking videos on Snapchat, he started putting like filters on everyone and stuff, you know, just having fun, light-hearted fun. The media was shook. Everyone was so triggered by this. Like, everyone was like, oh, Lewis is making a mockery out of the press conference. And then this guy tweeted, I think the world champion could have ditched the phone and concentrated a little harder for the benefit of the huge Japanese audience. Like, it's not that deep, babe. This is the video that Lewis Hamilton took, and it's so funny. He literally captioned the video that he took of Bradley Lord and said, Bradley, could this interview be any more boring? I wonder if I will have time to go to B&Q on Monday. Need a new sofa. Like, and when people saw this video, they were so triggered. The Guardian, the Daily Mail, they all went and started complaining. And obviously, you know what Lewis did. He went to Twitter. So he tweeted, today was meant to be fun, not all disrespectful. Some people take themselves too seriously. I had a blast. Highlight of my day. He was just bored, guys. Let's chill, you know? And then Carlos Sainz was on our guy's side, obviously, and he tweeted Lewis saying, no offense, but my mom says I'm the cutest of both. And that's why we stand Carlos Sainz. Then he also tweeted a now deleted tweet saying, read press conference, it's been the same for 10 years. It's not the media or mediator, it's the format. Fans should be asking the questions. And he ate with that. Look how she ate there. Literally, the drivers always seem so bored, like every press conference. You've seen those compilations on TikTok, they're always so bored. We should bring back the guy from Abu Dhabi.
Gentlemen, a short view back to the past.
After that, we move on swiftly to July 2022.
Your name is Fernando Alonso?
Yeah.
Fernando Alonso seemed to have a problem with Lewis, like always. I love Fernando. He's not afraid to say anything. He was being interviewed and he said the following about Lewis Hamilton, and I quote, I have a lot of respect for Lewis, but still it is different when you win 7 world titles when you only had to fight with your teammate. Shade. That is shade. You can't even say no tea, no shade, because that is shade. And then he went on to say, then I think a championship has less value than when you have fewer titles but have had to fight against other drivers with equal and even better material. And these comments caused an uproar. Everyone was like, Fernando is obsessed with Lewis. Fernando is always talking about Lewis. Like, what is this beef? What is up? You know? Obviously, everyone was wondering, what's up, Alonso? Why are you talking smack about Lewis in these interviews? And Alonso was shook. he was literally like relaxing and was saying this. So he decided, oh, let me go and clear it up a bit, you know. So Alonso went on Twitter. I've not found the tweet, but he said, please, all the titles are amazing, well deserved and inspiring, incomparable to each other, and let's enjoy champions and legends of our current time. Tired of the continuous search for headlines, let's enjoy them. Babe, why are you changing the narrative? You literally said Lewis's championships have less value, word for word. Babe, you were on the record. And yes, guess what Sassy Lewis did? He went to Twitter. He didn't even mention Fernando. He just tweeted this iconic tweet.
It's quiet, ain't no back to it.
And it said everything. I mean, everyone was so hyped up. Fernando, stay in your lane, boy. I have literally like 5 more championships than you, you know? That was like, I think the most iconic out of all these tweets, because bro, Fernando was literally just silenced for real. And then finally we have this Nelson Piquet situation.
Oh, you know, boy, that's why.
Obviously Nelson Piquet is like a well-known Formula 1 driver, former Formula 1 driver, and he was very successful as well. And he was on an interview and he decided, oh, you know what? Let me talk about Lewis, because everyone is obsessed with Lewis, yeah? Why they can't keep his name out of their mouths. So the interviewer asked Nelson Piquet on his thoughts on the crash that happened in Silverstone in 2021. And when Nelson was talking about this, he described Lewis in like a very derogatory slur in Portuguese. It was so disgusting, and everyone agreed. Obviously, Lewis went on Twitter, and this is not a messy tweet. This is just like putting people in their place, because racism has no place in this world. Someone tweeted, what if Lewis Hamilton just tweeted, who the F is Nelson Piquet, then closed Twitter? And then Lewis replied, imagine. And then he tweeted a tweet in Portuguese, which translated to, let's focus on changing their mindset, because seriously, it's 2022 at that time, and what is this nonsense, you know? And then he said, it's more than language. These archaic mindsets need to change and have no place in our sport. I've been surrounded by these attitudes and targeted my whole life. There has been plenty of time to learn. Time has come for action. Which is true. And you know what? As we speak now, Nelson Piquet was fined for these comments and stuff. But like, you don't even need to be fined to learn, guys. Anyway, that's just a few of Lewis Hamilton's iconic tweets. And there are very many iconic tweets by other Formula 1 drivers. And I could make another video on that. And yeah, Sir Lewis Hamilton, icon, legend, passive-aggressive Twitter. And that's it. If you like the video, subscribe, you know. And yeah, bye. Excuse me, you're obsessed.